All right, everybody. And just like that, we are back. What is going on, y'all? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned in to a very special edition of the HFWB Podcast Series. This is your host, Clifton Pope, and with me today, well, let's just say I'm kicking off the brand new year of 2024, reconnecting with a good old friend of mine who, at this point, really doesn't need an introduction, to be honest. She's pretty much become a regular for the HFWB podcast series at this point. But I'm going to give a quick little description of an introduction, just in case for those who are not familiar with who I'm about to bring on. Basically, she is a local amateur MMA specialist. Some would say she's a fighter. I call her more of a specialist because she's really special at what she does. I mean, she's all about kickboxing. She's all about hit conditioning. She's all about just being an overall brutally beautiful fighter. Anytime you watch her fight, like I'm not making this up. Like if you haven't watched the person who I'm about to bring on fight, believe me, the new year 2024 and beyond, there's going to be plenty of times where you're going to get the opportunity because she's just a fighter within itself. And from the first time I met her, that pretty much just describes her. And what most people don't realize, she's in the process of recovering from an overall surgery that has basically kept her from doing what she's been doing all of 2023. And I watched from afar, disappointed, rooting for her to where she can make her well-awaited comeback. And believe me, the comeback is coming. Oh, and by the way, did I mention she's like a Rocks discount athlete, a whole bunch of stuff. She's into health, she's into beauty, and she's also the same thing I am, personal training. I mean, we basically have like a common bond that literally brought us together more than ever in the last 2 years. If you don't know who I'm talking about right now, I got the lovely Miss Marina Robles back on my HFWB podcast series. Marina, what is going on today or this evening rather?
How's it going, Clifton? I've had a pretty busy day. Had a good day at work. Went by the gym to go pick up some new merch. Actually, got some new gear for the gym, and then now I came home. I'll probably go to the art walk later. Not sure if you're gonna head out there or not.
I may or may not. I mean, I honestly completely forgot about the art walk being today, but then I thought, hey, it's the first. For those who
First Friday.
For those who are unfamiliar, of course, we both live in Corpus Christi, Texas. Every Friday, the first month of every month, they always have an art walk here in downtown Corpus Christi, Texas. It's great. It's a great attraction for those who want to come and visit. As far as during like a Friday, first Friday of the month here in Corpus Christi, Texas, something to do. It's a lot of great vendors, great music, great opportunity to do all that wonderful stuff. But besides all of that, it's all about you, Marina. How have you been doing? Like really since overall, just wrapping up 2023, of course, like everyone else is. Now we're going into the new year and stuff like that. And most people don't realize you were literally in the fight of your life outside of fighting within itself because you were been going back and forth as far as when to get your surgery, how it's going to get done, not to mention all the problems with the insurance and everything that most people don't even realize how much of a complication that is within itself. Kind of describe the whole process, Marina, when you found out you had to have this surgery, how you felt, and just the overall battle, exclusive behind the scenes stuff that most people may not even realize.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, it's been almost exactly a year. My last fight was January 7th of 2023, and that's when I tore my labrum. So it was actually in that first round. I remember when it happened, I threw a hook, and I actually I felt something like fiery kind of pain. But I was in the middle of a fight, so I mean, I'm not gonna stop, and adrenaline's taking over.
Yeah.
So I finished the fight. I ended up winning. So that was awesome. It was like in a way worth it, but also in a way definitely like bit me in the butt because I was out for basically the entire year.
Yes.
I would still train and stuff like that, work around the injury, keep my cardio up and stuff like that. But I had to turn down over 6 different opportunities for fighting. My coach had to turn down opportunities for fighting, sponsorships, stuff like that, because I wouldn't be able to provide, the content or the promises, with fighting and stuff. So that was kind of a bummer. It did affect me a lot more than I thought it would have, but I mean, I'm here. I made it. So 2024.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I could only imagine, and it's kind of like it's almost a full circle moment again, like I mentioned before, Marina. It's like it's been almost a year exactly since you had your last fight, and now here we
Yeah.
are, almost a year later to this exact date, talking about all this and talking about you just getting back to what it is that you pretty much are born to do. Number one, and number two, what you love to do. What is that itch like getting more crazier than ever as far as like, oh,
Oh my
I can't
gosh.
wait to get back into the
Yeah.
ring. I can't wait to see who am I going to fight next. I mean, was that kind of like what got you through those tough times to where you felt like you weren't going to be able to come out of this surgery the same person and everything?
As for getting me through the surgery, honestly, a lot of my family, my teammates, my coaches, my friends, like those in my inner circle, they really helped out a lot as far as the encouragement goes. I actually had a few fans that had consistently helped out as far as like finances go. So like in their own way, kind of like a
Yeah,
sponsor, like a little sponsorship kind of thing.
yeah,
So really like all of corporate is what it felt like. Like they just kind of pulled together to either help me, get the money and the funds for the surgery or to actually
yeah,
like just give me the encouragement and the motivation. Um, I mean, when you have like that many people behind you, you don't want to let them down.
yeah.
So even if you think about like stopping or quitting or giving up, you have that in the back and it's like, oh, I can't let so and so down. Like they believe in me. Like they invested this much in me. Like I can't quit now. So that definitely helped like realistically, like I would think about that like, oh no, so and so put this much money into me this month. Well, I can't stop. So
Yeah.
that definitely helped out. But then of course just I guess my own drive and like I'm a stubborn person kind of.
No.
So I I think that definitely helped out as far as maintaining the same kind of passion and intensity throughout the entire year instead of just stopping because there were moments of course when like I want to just kind of throw in the towel and just be like this is too much.
That
um
leads to me asking you this: what was the biggest challenge throughout that whole entire process that you could think of that you were glad that you overcame when it was over?
Definitely the biggest challenge I would say would be finances. I mean, without a doubt,
Oh
because
yeah,
everything seemed like it lined up and was there, but the initial like down payment for the actual surgery to take place, I didn't have that much. And the insurance and all of that, like that was its whole other situation. Honestly, that was kind of a bummer too, for reasons I don't really want to talk too much about it because I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm like trash talking or um like I don't know, I just don't want to upset anybody or like put a bad
yeah,
taste in anyone's mouth.
yeah. Of
But
course.
let's just say 2023 really showed me that not everybody, even though they say they're on your side, can definitely always be on your side.
Oh my
There
god,
and it's not that I'm
wow.
naive, but I tend to really, really try to see the good in people. And a lot of
Yeah,
times that
without
does
a
kind of
doubt.
bite me in the butt. So this was one of those moments. But it definitely was a growing moment also, not just, literally like trying to grow financially and I got second jobs and did other businesses and side hustles, but literally just character wise, it definitely was a big helping as a fighter. It was a big help as well to again just not give up. I got to see that grit and determination and fighter spirit that I have physically translate from the cage and the mat room actually into like a day-to-day life of just not giving up and being persistent and honestly fighting for what was right because I should have
Yeah.
had the surgery covered and I actually never got it covered by the insurance. So I ended up having to pay everything out of pocket.
I know. And I
Yeah.
remember seeing like all the fundraisers that had to be done and everything in regards just to even meet that demand. And it's like, it was a battle. I
Yeah.
mean, it was not only just a battle physically, it was more of like a mental battle as well, because you have to keep telling yourself, I can and I will and I must do it, even when the times get dark and even until you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that could be challenging too, because there are
Yeah.
days where you just want to just give up and not want to do it anymore. Then you realize who you're doing it for, and then you have to tell yourself. I saw this quote the other day, and I feel like this sums up 2024 and beyond. to be is to do. So it's like, tell yourself, man, I have to do this. That way I can be exactly this. That way I can exactly have exactly what I want. It's kind of like a be, do, have method. I forgot which book I saw it in, but when you put it in that perspective, it's like, you just got to keep going. You just got to, you even said it before in past conversations, Marina, you just got to suck it up and you just got to deal with it.
You just gotta deal with it. Yeah, you gotta suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah, you said it yourself, Marina. You got to suck
Yeah.
it up and deal with it, no matter how brutal it can get, because in the end, it turns out beautiful in the long run once it's all done and stuff. So it's like, and it's funny how you mentioned that, you can't really trust everybody who's on your side and stuff like that, because I feel like that's the same exact message that I learned like in 2023, where it's like, I thought people were in my corner and then they weren't in my corner. And then it's like, I have to really take a step back and listen, like, okay, I'm going to have to be more strategic about this. And I'm really going to have to make sure this doesn't happen going forward. It's just, learning from the growing pains and stuff like that. But since we're in a new year, 2024, I mean, you got the surgery done. You're now currently in the rehab process. So my question is, what is next for Marina Robles? When will the return happen? Because I'm pretty sure I want to know this, number one, and I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know, when will Marina Robles be back in the octagon in 2024? Can you give that exclusive to the HFWB Podcast Series?
Yeah, that's definitely a common question that I'm getting ever since the surgery. People are like, okay, when are you coming back? Like, when is your next fight?
That was
Which
the
is
first thing I
awesome.
thought.
It's awesome. It's a huge compliment for one, because people actually want to see me fight. But then also, like, it's again motivating. Like, it rebuilds that momentum. Literally, I was so anxious to just get the surgery done and over with the moment I got the, like, yes, it's approved. I just wanted to get it done and over with. When I went in that morning, I was just like sitting there, just waiting and waiting. Like, put me under and just get this done already. I want recovery to start right now.
Yeah.
So I went yesterday and I got my stitches out. And
Yes, I saw that earlier. Yes.
yeah, so that was pretty cool. It didn't hurt or anything like that. Actually, from the day of the surgery, I didn't take any pain medication. So the the first couple of days, like first 3 days, I would say were kind of difficult. And then after that point, the pain really like kind of subsided, or I
Yeah.
did have a really high pain tolerance, one of the two. But yeah, so I was able to kind of start slowly doing things here and there, gripping exercises, stuff like that. Forearm movement, so my arm doesn't get stiff. But then, yeah, yesterday when I went into the doctor after they take the stitches out, they gave me some more exercises that I can do, and they told me that in 2 weeks I'll be cleared to start doing cardio. So I'm super excited about that. I can start doing like the assault bike, just low impact kind of stuff,
Like
which
the
is
hit bike
awesome.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This week I actually started my kickboxing lessons again too. So I'm not really like moving around and holding pads for people, but I have them on the bags and I have them doing some cool exercises. So slowly getting back into just moving in general versus just
Yeah.
kind of resting and healing from the surgery. And then next month they said I can go ahead and start rehab. So that's kind of what's going to be the determining factor next month. I'll be able to see more or less when they think I'll be able to kind of start really training and getting ready for a fight count.
Describe like the current like rehab process that you're going through for someone who is very unfamiliar with the injury that you currently have, as far as tearing your labrum and stuff like that within your shoulder. Kind of describe like, one, how painful it was, and two, like the overall rehab process that you've been described to help you get that shoulder back to full strength, for those who are unfamiliar with it listening to this particular episode.
Okay, well, I tore my labrum, and I guess my shoulder bone had a few fragments that had also broken off. So they were
Right.
just kind of like floating around in there. They wanted to remove those because they didn't want those to risk getting stuck in something else or cutting something else. And so they went in. They actually told me that they got all of them but one out because I guess it kind of floated somewhere that they couldn't really reach. So it's still in there, but they said not to worry about that. They actually screwed, I guess, the labrum part in that tore like into my bone or something like that. You know
Right.
what? Hold on. I have checked this out. I don't know if this is okay for viewer expression advice, but they gave me little printouts here
Oh
um,
wow.
of the actual thing. So yeah,
Those who are listening to the audio version of the HFWB podcast series, Marina basically just showed me a picture of the actual operation that is currently going on. So that's exactly why she said viewer
yeah.
discretion is advised. So please be aware, viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so they basically did it through a scope.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't like a crazy surgery. They just went in and did a couple slits. But yeah, so now that I'm going to be recovering, I'm going to go to the training room, which is actually one of my sponsors, and they sponsor the gym, all the competitors and the fighters there. So Steve Hopkins, he's awesome. He's has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and he
Hmm.
was actually the one that recommended Dr. Williams over at Coastal Orthopedics. So
Hmm.
I went there, and now I'm going to go back to Steve. I haven't been just yet, so I won't know until February, sometime in the beginning of February, when I can get seen. But basically, what they'll do from that point is determine if I can lift like weights or if I should do stuff on the resistance band. More
Hmm.
than likely, I'll get special massage treatments that they'll like, rub out any fluid from whenever I start working out again and stuff. Then once that starts going, I'll be able to actually start working out, training. I can practice my kicks and my crosses with my right hand. I can practice other things like my knees and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So pretty much anything but jabs with this front hand until I'm fully finally cleared, which should probably be the longest. I would say maybe 6 months. So maybe
Mm.
like June, July, August time, I can finally start like really going hard and training again.
So you heard it here first now. Marina Robles is currently loading officially in 2024. And who knows, maybe the
Yes.
end of the summer 2024, maybe the fall, we may see the
You
return.
know, Peter from Tapper's Craft, he's messaged me before about coming out to a fight here because in Corpus they're gonna have one in April. I think it's like the 27th at the
Right.
American Bank Center. So he's of course trying to do all the matchups and get the fight card ready. And he's like, "You think you'll be ready by April?" And I'm like, "Man, I want to so bad, but that's like 4 months out. I don't know. More than likely, it probably won't happen as much as I want it to because I want to be smart. I don't want to just
Yeah.
rush and then,
Yeah.
mess everything up that I just worked so hard for.
Yeah.
So probably not, but I am excited for that card though in
I,
April
I,
for
I
sure.
could just imagine it's like eating
Yeah.
you alive so much,
Oh
Marina,
my
because
God. Yeah.
you want to just get back out there because I just know the ball of energy that you are. And you're like,
Yeah.
you want to just get out there and just like probably rip the cast off that you're wearing. Like, all right, I'm good.
I'm
No, wait,
ready.
I'm not good. Hold up. I need to take this one day at a time, one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, you're going to get back to who you once was and then some. I could already see it. And it's like, yeah, it's gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be kind of like fire being unleashed, and it's just gonna continue to spread, and it's just gonna be like you're gonna burn things up, Marina. I already know it. That's for sure. Is there like a intention that you want to do, like whenever you do come back for your first? Like, do you have a particular person that you're targeting? Do you have a certain goal that you want to reach when you do get back to fighting? What are kind of like your, I guess you could say, your newest fighting goals that you want to achieve when you do come back? Do you have any particular in mind that you want to achieve?
Well, I want to win. When I come back, I would like to
Besides
win my
winning,
first
of
fight.
course, number one.
But
Besides
as
winning and
for
improving the fight
like
record.
as for like anyone specific, no, I don't have anyone specific in mind. Honestly, I'm just gonna be super happy, super grateful to be back in that cage.
As you should.
Literally, every time I step in the cage, it's like this is where I belong. Like this feels good. This feels right. So I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to that moment again. But honestly, as I guess like a new goal, it's really just time to just pick up where I left off. I mean, I feel like that's a new goal, but also like it's not because that's kind of been my intention like all last
Yeah.
year. But now that it's more obtainable because of the surgery and all of that, definitely like I want to get,
Yeah, for
super, super good in the grappling and the wall work and the striking, and just be better than when I left whenever I had to step back.
For sure. So, this should be kind of like a allow me to reintroduce myself moment for those who are listening
Yeah.
to the HFWB podcast series and have no idea how much of a badass fighter that you truly are. Kind of break down like where you were prior to where you left off to where basically you plan on being, if not taking it to another level. For those who aren't familiar, because a lot of people don't know currently going into the new year.
Okay. Well, for those that aren't even like really fight fans in general, it's just super cool to watch someone amateur, myself, my fight team, and other fighters out there get better as they continue to fight and get more experience. So in the last fight I had, looking back at the video on the film, I could definitely tell where I had improved. I would say this was my best fight to date as far as combining the kickboxing and the grappling and really doing full MMA.
Yeah.
I landed good combos. I did great wall work. I did good reversals, getting off of the ground. So it was a good overall. So that's why I was kind of bummed that this all happened, like right where I was like, oh yeah, I'm making like
It's like
improvements.
right when you're beginning
Right
to figure
there,
it out,
yeah.
you hit that wall and
Yeah,
you're like, damn it, now I gotta
exactly.
repair myself from this and I'm gonna get back
Yeah.
to it. And when that wall comes up again, I'm gonna make sure I don't run into the wall. I'm gonna run through the wall, I can
Yeah,
imagine,
so
Marina.
that's kind of I guess where I'm at, and that's what I expect is to kind of pick off there and
Hmm.
then just go, like you said, run through that wall, go full force and just start throwing people and no, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but
No, but as you should, though, as you should, just get back to what you do and what you do well. And you kind of alluded to it, Marina, kickboxing, just overall grappling, just the overall hit conditioning and stuff like that. And basically just self-defense and just defending yourself and for the most part. And it's funny how I mentioned all those things not in a particular order or whatever, because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what your specialty is and just overall in your MMA. That's what makes you an MMA specialist to me is those four things. And it's funny because the new year I saw that you're actually training women who want to master those four
Yeah.
things as well, just for their own greater good. So what made you want to just do that in general? And is that kind of like your way of giving back based off of your overall passion of what you already do, Marina? Tell me how that came together.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, I was a personal trainer. So I
A
used
lot
to
of people
work.
don't know that about you, Marina, that you used to be a
No, you're
personal
right.
trainer
Okay.
before you
I'll
became
start over.
a
I'll
trainer.
start over.
No,
So
you're
I
good.
was a
You're
personal
good.
trainer. And I was training clients. Well, actually, I wasn't really a personal trainer. I was a manager of the personal trainers. So I still got a lot of hands-on around the clients and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
putting together exercise programs and things. So I loved it. I had a heart for that. I've always had a heart for fitness. I think that just came from my upbringing and like my family, seeing, people with maybe not the best health or
Yeah.
habits. And it just really motivated me to not want to take a lot of medication when I'm older or not be limited because of something I could control.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that passion, that's actually how I even just got into working out in general. Of course,
Yeah.
that's how I got into sports too, and the whole athletic side came out and fighting and stuff. But I also have a heart for helping people. And at Freedom, I was blessed to be in I guess, the position where people would come through with actual like borderline health issues. And they'd be like,
Yes.
my doctor said if I don't change in 2 months, like I'm gonna have to be on this medicine forever. Or there was a girl one time who came in who she was like, my doctor said I could probably die.
Mm.
There was someone that came in that was told that he was going to be paralyzed and never walk again. And he actually was a
Mhm.
client and my tattoo artist.
Oh,
But he
wow.
started deadlifting at the end of his training program, which was crazy. So it's like to see these life changing moments. When I left Freedom, I missed it. I really did miss, helping people not just only reach those goals, but just see the best in themselves.
Yeah.
I know not everybody gets that either. Life is tough sometimes. So the fact that I was also able to maybe be that one person that day to compliment them or make them feel good about themselves, like I
Yeah.
didn't take that lightly. I really like appreciated it. So I
No.
missed it. I don't know if you could tell, but I missed it.
No,
And so
I know exactly how you feel because That's one thing I've learned just within this last year alone, just personal training. It's just that life-changing moment of where you hear them say, I'm grateful that you came into my life when you did and were able to impact me to help me do better for myself. It's a moment like that is just something that's worth more than whatever you make out of the session within itself, because you actually, one, took time out of your day just to help them, and two, they were impacted and you influenced them to basically do better. And in a way, ironically enough, Marina, you basically cash in on the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life. And that's kind of what we need more of, is just people who to kind of like heal people from within and just become more healers, because that's the only way we're going to continue to increase the peace, love, and positive vibrations that the universe continues to provide us on a regular basis, and just be connected to each other. We need to get back to the connection, because we're all connected to each other either way. It's like, I can do something to someone and I don't even know that person, and it could affect them and it could affect other people around them, and it could be like a never ending effect. So it's like, it's a matter of whether you do the good or the bad to where it makes a difference. So it's like, I love the fact that you're getting back into like doing what you love doing, but at the same time, keeping your current lifestyle into place. It's like, you're mastering the balance there, Marina. I love it.
Thanks, I'm trying.
No, you're doing. It's to be is to do, Marina. That's something that I want you to carry into 2024 to inspire your overall journey. To be is to do. I don't know what it is about that quote, but when I saw it the other day, it's like, that is the official motto for 2024 and beyond. And it's like, your story just continues to grow and continues to evolve and continues to be an inspiration. And it's like, for those who are listening right now who need that inspiration going into 2024, because it's been already apparently a crazy 4 or 5 days with all the stuff that I see on social media and stuff. So it's like, what would you say to someone right now in 2024 who needs some inspiration, Marina? What would you tell them right now?
Well, not to be cliche or anything, but it's a new year, so it's like a new slate. But honestly, I just kind of feel like that's every day, because every day when you wake up, it's a brand new slate. It's a brand new day. But definitely, I mean, you could put that into the new year, starting fresh kind of a thing. But I would say don't just leave that in January. Like, take that with you throughout the entire year.
Yes.
So let's say you fall off on whatever your goal is or reaching your task. Like, you don't have to wait until next year, 2025, January. Like, you can restart, that next day or that next evening. It's never too late. Just pick up kind of where you left off. I mean, there were so many days where it got tough for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just, no pressure. I'm not going to give myself any pressure for the next 3 days. And come Wednesday or come Friday, next day, next week, that's when I'll start fresh. And, I would have grace on myself. That's something recently also I've been learning to have. And that a lot of people have also spoken over me, to have grace for myself. I think other people should probably hear that too. Because again, like, life happens. I went through life last year, not just with the fighting, but just things outside. And so I could have gave up, but instead of giving up and stopping completely, like, okay, I'll just stop until Thursday, and then on the weekend I'll start over. But it kind of like, takes that pressure off of yourself, lets you just kind of relax guilt-free and reset guilt-free, and then just pick up again where you left off.
Yeah, just don't burn yourself out. You got to learn how to take like a couple of days off if you need to, and then just say, okay, today, like whenever I know I'm having a rough day and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I look at it like the universe is meant for me to say, hey, it's not your day. It's not your time. It's like, I say this all the time, and I tell people this all the time. I may have told you this before, Marina, but if the timing isn't right, it's not going to work out. So when I feel like things aren't going the way that I planned it or expected, I just say, timing isn't right. The universe said it wasn't meant to be. I'll try again the next day and see if things work out in my favor. And that's really kind of the mindset you should have in 2024 and beyond, is because it's like, I don't know why, Marina. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you feel the exact same way about this. And I even talked to my girlfriend about this many, many a times last year, and even on New Year's and stuff. It's like, 2024 is like the year to where it's like you got to have like more of a sense of urgency more than ever. I don't know what it is. It's just you have when you feel something within your intuition that something is coming and something big
Yeah.
is about to happen, and your sense of urgency kicks in to where it's like I got to get as much stuff done as much as possible as quickly as possible. That's kind of like how I currently feel right now at the start of the year. Do you kind of feel like that sense of urgency in 2024 to kind of like get things done more than ever? Or really, honestly, I feel like that's something that you pretty much already do regardless.
All the time. That's just
Yeah,
my life.
it's like you're constantly making daily resolutions versus New Year's resolutions. Honestly,
For
Marina, I
real.
made a TikTok about that the other day. You got to make daily resolutions, and you just really just got to take things one day at a time, one step at a time, without a doubt. And if we could tell anybody that within the new year, I feel like we've done our jobs as far as just uplifting, empowering, and inspiring them just to be the best version of themselves while mastering just the masculine and feminine energy that the universe allows us to have, because you can't have one without the other. I always like to say you got to have a woman's touch in a man's world. That's the only way this whole earth is going to make sense. And they call it Mother Earth for a reason. So just saying, for those who are listening, just for those who are listening. But I guess, Marina, my last question I have for you currently at the moment is what are your goals and your plans for 2024 as far as the three things that you wish to accomplish for 2024 and beyond?
Well, as for that urgency and having that at the beginning of the year, I feel like since I got that surgery date, that's when it was like, okay, it's go time. Literally, I got it, and then that next week was when I was gonna have the surgery. So I was immediately went into like prep mode. I was like, I'm not gonna have an arm for the next 6 weeks. I'm gonna be in a sling. Like, I need to get all my chores done, caught up on everything, so that way from that day, my actual life doesn't fall off balance. But then yeah, definitely like that urgency carried over into this year, and the urgency to be honest, I've been told I'm a pretty intense person in general. Like you said, I have a lot going on. But the urgency to definitely not just say I have a goal, but to put action in and make it happen.
Mm,
And I really feel like I have the resources, and like you said, things do feel like I'm starting to become a little bit more balanced. Um, at the beginning of 2023, the rug was like completely ripped out from under me, kind of a thing.
yeah.
So I definitely was like rocked, but I do feel like I'm kind of settling down now. And like you said, I'm starting the kickboxing. I'm about to kick off my Monet stuff again, and
Mm.
get back in the beauty industry
See,
stuff.
I didn't even
So
bring up all that stuff, but go ahead and speak on it, Marina. A lot of people don't
yeah,
know how
so
much of an influence you are in the health and beauty world. Go ahead and remind them. Allow me to reintroduce myself, shall we?
yeah, so Monet is a shampoo brand. People have their opinions on it, but I know for me it helps my hair and it helps my finances. So I don't see a reason to stop. I like the products, the ingredients, what they stand for, and I wash my hair. So to me, it's a win-win. And if I can help somebody else also use clean products, save money, wash their hair, and we can, use the same products and just kind of relate in that way, why not? It also helps me with my content and stuff. So I'm super excited to kick off the Homonay shampoo, hair care, and scalp revival all over again. And again, like the content, it's fun. I get to be creative, be silly, and it kind of takes like a whole nother perspective or look on me and my profile, because it is a lot of MMA, and I don't want people to think I'm violent or like always
No,
intense all
no.
the time. So it's a good balance. I have my MMA and my beauty side, and I try to keep a little bit of me, my personal life, work, family, stuff like that too on there. So yeah, 2024 is gonna have a lot of good things coming.
The Beauty and the Beast is back. That's all I have to say. I mean, a lot of people. I see. I didn't even bring up the health and beauty stuff, and it's like that's what a lot of people don't realize. Is don't get it. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Marina,
Don't get it
she's
twisted.
a beast inside the cage, but when she wants to doll herself up and become a lady in the streets, don't let that fool you now. I'm just
One
letting
of the
you know.
perks, yeah, one of the perks from this is that I get to do my nails and wear rings and all that good stuff again that I kind of stopped because it's not really comfortable in
Yeah.
gloves.
Yeah, and I saw that too. That was one of the transitions you were going through in the new year. You were becoming more in touch with the feminine side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't realize that you barely took on like having more female friends within the last year. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people, there's certain things that people don't know as far as just you're going through your own battle of just balancing out just the masculine and feminine that we all have within ourselves. Kind of like talk about that a little bit as far as just the importance of just balancing out the masculine and the feminine and the logic and the creativity that we all have within us just to create that perfect balance. Just from your perspective, real quick, Marina.
Well, definitely, again, back to the beginning of 2023, life happened and that was really crappy. And I actually really struggled with having female friends. That's probably one of the biggest struggle because I don't have anything to relate with really, or I mean, I don't really have time to socialize outside of the gym, so I just have to hope that that's their hobby so we can train together. And so it's always like just been kind of a thing, and it really sucks. So I really started praying actually at the end of 2022. You know, like God, like please give me some girlfriends. Like am getting older. I have topics that I want to talk to girls about that are my age group, but that have similar morals and values and outlooks on life. And I didn't have it, and so it really did suck sometimes. But I also learned to be comfortable with myself as well. And maybe not necessarily needing that company all the time. But I definitely wanted it, and I felt like I was in a time where I needed that female company. So
Mm-hmm.
God answered my prayer right away. Beginning of 2023 happened, life happened, and I actually met one of my best friends, Leandra, who also is a competitor. She's a wrestler, and I actually think she's competing on the 27th. There's
Mm-hmm.
a card that's coming up, but she's doing the grappling portion, the nogi. So I believe she's doing that. But I had already met her before from training and stuff, but it
Mm-hmm.
was just that day I needed to give her a ride. She asked me for a ride, and literally we clicked immediately on the drive and inseparable ever since. And then from that point, actually, I met Roman, who's also a fighter, who just had her debut, and she won. She's awesome. She's
I
also,
saw that. Yes.
yeah, she also fights outside of Corpus.
I want to connect with her because I feel like y'all
She's
two
cool.
are
You
like
should.
so similar.
Everybody thinks we're sisters. They always think we're twins all the time. There are times where
I'll
I
be
will look
honest
at
with you, Maria. When
videos.
I saw her, I literally thought that y'all were like related to a certain extent,
Well,
but I was like,
yeah,
nah, they're, I feel like they're just really great friends and they're just so similar. But you can make that argument.
everyone thinks, I mean, there's videos and stuff that I've seen before that she's posted, and I'm like, who took this picture of me? And I'm like, oh my God, that's Roman. Is that me? Like, so it's fooled myself. I definitely can see the resemblance, but she's cool. I mean, she's her own individual. She has her own goals and life story. Like, definitely, if I were you, I'd hit her up. She's
I've been
cool.
trying to get in
She's
contact with her. Maybe you can
I'm gonna
make that
tell her.
connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her. I'll tell her to hit you up. And
Yeah.
then Kennedy. Kennedy's awesome too. She also trains. She's a boxer. She's not fighting. She has a lot going on with her school, and she got into the dental field and all of that. But it's awesome because the moment I prayed, I felt like a month or two later, these three girls fell in my lap and like my pathway, and we all help each other in the gym, out of the gym. We like it's awesome. I have never had a very like supportive group that I really, really trust. I've always had kind of issues with that. So these girls are awesome. They're solid. And I'm excited to see what 2024 has for them too. Like we all have our goals to compete again. So
Yes. And I know I said that my last question was earlier, but I kind of lied. I have to ask you just this one last question. Based on everything you just said right there, as far as just the MMA world, and just the importance of the impact that women have on the MMA world, I feel like it's going in a great direction to where I feel like honestly women are taking over MMA more than men are. I really truly believe that because it's like it's not just within just the local scene, but just within the big time brands, UFC, all that stuff. Do you feel like with well, probably maybe even this year and beyond, do you feel like MMA is in a good in a good space with women literally taking over the sport and basically snatching it away from the men and basically making it theirs in their own way, and also just having that sense of community of just women coming together, standing side by side, saying, "Hey, I support you, one another, but let's go get our fight on. Let's go get our scrap on." What does that mean to you specifically?
I don't
Just to
think
see
the
it grow the
females
way
will
it
take over necessarily. I don't think there's a big ratio difference on how many men there are to women, but it is growing. Absolutely, you're right. It has grown so much. Our opportunity has skyrocketed this past year, is what it seems like. Even other fellow fighters that I keep up with or know have trained with throughout Texas and just the states to see their opportunities that are being presented to them, and it's awesome. Like, I love to see it. I don't ever hate on the girls, oh, why did she get that? Or like, what's going on? Like, if anything, I'm like, yes, because we need more females in the MMA community. Because I get it. It can be intimidating and stuff like that, if you've never set foot into the MMA gym or the gym period. But having a lot of females, I think it's breaking barriers,
is.
and it's helping females learn that they can kind of like empower themselves. It's showing them their capabilities, just how to react if they're in a situation. I mean, God forbid that happen, but if they're in a bad situation, they know what to do. They
They know how
know
to
how to just
defend themselves
react
and know how to
quick.
stand their ground. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Instead of
Well,
the usual old school, oh, don't hurt me, give me everything you want. It's like,
exactly.
nah, I'm gonna take you head on and I'm gonna defend
Yeah.
myself and I'm gonna stand on my own 10 toes. That's for
Even
sure.
even as simple as like remembering to react to run away, because it is common, to just freeze in
Yeah.
general, but to practice having a reaction that isn't freezing, and like you said, being like, oh my god, take everything, like, like to react and run away. So like when I train the girls and stuff like that, that's what I let them know. Of course, I hope that you never have to use what I'm teaching you, but in the event, at least you're confident in that situation that you'd believe in yourself to be able to do what you need to do and get out of there,
Yeah.
versus just giving up and quitting. It's not going to be anything new. You've been here before. So yeah, definitely. I love seeing the females be successful in the industry and using the platform. It's definitely awesome.
As we bring another special edition of the HFWB Podcast Series to a close, I know one thing I plan on doing at some point in 2024, and everyone who's listening should as well. They need to tune in to whenever Marina makes her return to the ring. As a matter of fact, my mission is to definitely try to be at that fight because that's going to be something
Yeah.
I have to see. And I'm going to make that happen. I mean, whenever that time does come, hopefully the timing is right and it aligns perfectly because I definitely want to be there. You should too, for those who are listening to this here in Corpus Christi, Texas. And for those who are listening all across the world, remember the name Marina Robles because I guarantee you, I've told you this before, Marina. I'm going to say it for everyone who's listening. She's going to be fighting in one of the big time MMA brands, definitely for sure, when she comes
Yeah.
back from her surgery, when she's already coming back from her surgery. But I guarantee you there's a fire that's lit underneath her that's going to be unleashed. And all I got to say is beware and look out. You heard it here first on the HFWB Podcast Series because I know I'm just telling y'all basically what's coming. But with that being said, Marina, for those who want to get to know you a little bit more and want to follow all your wonderful content that you have, because trust me, it is something in very good, great ways. How can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you at, Marina? Just as a friendly reminder to those folks.
Definitely, I'm more active on Instagram. Instagram and Facebook are my go-to platforms. My IG handle is at Marina Renee Darling, MARINARENE, Darling. So I try to spell it out because sometimes people put two E's at the end and it's just one. But yeah, you can catch me on there. I do fight updates, like you said, content for my different businesses, for fighting, for my teammates. all of that going on. And then on Facebook, just my name, Marina Robles. They can also find me there. If they're curious of the gym where I train at Texas Style Training Center. They are based here in Corpus. So you guys can check out their Instagram, their Facebook page as well. My sponsors, of course, Rocks Discount. I have the training room that I mentioned is doing the recovery. Oh My Lash, they've been helping me also stay nice and pretty and all of that during my
Beauty and
fight
the Beast,
camp.
y'all. Beauty and the Beast. I'm telling you.
They make it easy. I tell you, those eyelash extensions have changed my life because I just wake up and go. I don't always have to put my lashes on and I feel like presentable. So that's been a game changer. But yeah, and Reslos Media, he's also been a big help. He'll go and he'll record my fights and give me some film so that way I can look back at it later. And all of that as far as like graphics and podcasts and all of that stuff go. I'll post those also on Instagram. So I'll put the link for this on my Instagram and all of that too. But yeah, social media. Find me.
I know. I love it. Marina, I just thank you so much for just taking time out of your busy schedule just to once again come on the HFWB Podcast Series and just have a conversation with yours truly, because it's like, you know how much I support you within your overall journey. And I know you're going to be doing big things and groundbreaking things whenever you do come back. It's just, hey, the pleasure's always mine. And it's an honor to call you a great friend of mine, because you're a true fighter. You're a true warrior. And you basically are just all about getting your hustle on and handling your business and not playing around and letting people know what time it is. So that pretty much sums up how you are as an overall person. And I feel like that's the best picture I can paint of Marina Robles. For those who are listening to the HFWB Podcast Series, Marina, I thank you again for making time just to once again bless us with another appearance. It's all peace, love, and positive vibrations always.
Thanks for having me on here today, Clifton. I appreciate it.
Of course. And with that being said, this is yours truly, Clifton Pope of the HFWB Podcast Series, encouraging y'all to stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed like always. And until next time, peace and love, y'all.